Today at Goody Reader, we are reviewing the Sony Tablet S, featuring a 9.4-inch capacitive touchscreen display and a 0.3 megapixel front-facing webcam. Looking on the side, you notice a 3.5mm headphone jack, a micro USB, as well as a full SD card to enhance the device's memory, as well as one of the two stereo speakers. You notice a proprietary Sony charging port that comes with a full adapter within the box of the unit. On the other side, you'll notice the second stereo speaker as well as the volume and power buttons. Looking at the back of the Sony Tablet S, the true design aesthetics really show. You notice a perforated design which really helps enhance the grip, so when you hold it in landscape mode, it won't slip out of your fingers. There's also a rear-facing 5 megapixel webcam that you can stream video and take pictures. Alright, let's take a look at the software side of things now. As you can see, we have the web browser loaded up, and we have it at our favorite website, and I hope it's yours too, goodyreader.com. So this is your internet experience here. As you can see, colors very crisp and vibrant. Incidentally, you can vote for us for the Freescale Smart Mobile Device Pundit. Okay, let's start again.
Don't elaborate too much on that though.
Yeah, I was gonna
say. I like
say.
how you passed by it, but don't go too nuts.
Yeah, because like people may see this when it's over.
Yeah, so start at 50.
Okay. Let's take a look at the software side of things now, starting with the overall internet experience. As you can see, we have our favorite website, and I hope it's yours too, goodyreader.com. As you can see, things scroll up fairly fine. Pictures do look very well. You could pinch and zoom. You can see it's fairly responsive, but it has a little bit of artifacting, as you can see, but it's definitely not a deal breaker. Of course, this is just the default WebKit browser. You could install things like Dolphin HD and everything like that you want. Bookmarks, everything like that. Let's take a look at what everything else looks like here, starting with the main menu with really no customizations. This is what you are seeing right here. You have your Video Unlimited, Sony Reader, the App Store, everything like that. So let's check out how videos look on this device. We'll check out the Green Hornet, which is what came preloaded on it.
Now that he's gone, I'm thinking I haven't done anything good my whole life. I'm not sure what I should do. Want to see something cool? Whoa!
So I do think that the video on this looks tremendous. And of course, with the Sony Tablet S, it is DLNA compliant, as well as it has a standalone Sony application. So if you have a DLNA compatible TV or speakers, you can simply swipe things up and send it to your TV, to your speakers, and so on. If you actually have a Sony TV, and there's only a few supported models right now, you can find some support there for it. So show you sort of a few of the supported models right now, I believe. So this is really your sort of virtual remote that comes with it. So this is designed exclusively for Sony TVs. So you can see that it only really officially with this app supports these TVs here, but using the DLNA standalone application, you can really just like videos, music, pictures, really anything that's on your tablet, it could be shown on your TV. So like we said before, it doesn't have an HDMI port, but it really makes up for it with its DLNA compliance. Let's check out what the ebook experience is like. You know, with a Good e-reader, we're all about the ebooks here. So this is the official Sony e-reader app that is bundled on it. This is just a free book that comes with it with an unregistered account. So you can highlight, you can do searches. There are some sort of options here for setting the brightness up and down. So font sizes as well. So not a whole lot of options, but you do have a view. So you saw we had a split page, but we just set up a full page. I like reading like this a lot more. I find readings a little bit more seamless. Of course, almost all these applications work both in landscape and portrait mode. So if you don't like reading in landscape, you can switch it to portrait. So again, this is a Sony e-reader app. You could purchase books from the Sony store as well as other content. So you do have things like the Sony social feed. Basically, you just set up your Facebook and Twitter account, and you could read everything here. I find it's very cool. One of the things that I really like about the Sony Tablet S is the amount of proprietary apps that they've bundled with it. We have reviewed so many tablets in the marketplace that really just come with that stock Android experience, and I'm kind of sick of it where you get a new tablet, it's honeycomb, it's maybe Android 2.3. In some cases, it may have Astro or ES File Explorer, but that's really about it. A lot of companies put zero effort into making their own applications and giving the user a unique Android experience. And I think Sony's really done a good job with bundling its established services. Pete, why don't you show us what the PlayStation Store looks like and what people can expect tapping into a very expansive Sony ecosystem?
Alright, so if you go to your app list here, you will see that much like on a PSP or a PS3 entertainment system, you have the PlayStation Store, and we will just sign in. And you can see that there is a not so great amount of games that are available right off the bat, but they will expand in future updates and all that kind of thing. But right now, it's just these are most of the games that are formatted to be utilized on a tablet with its controls and its screen ratio and all that kind of thing. So you will be seeing, I would assume, the full experience of the Sony PlayStation Store in the future on future updates.
So you're a PlayStation guy. You've had all the different systems over the years. What's the type of game selection here? I mean, I've never really had a PlayStation, so none of these really games stand out. Is it PS1, PS2 type games? What can people expect from the game quality?
Well, the games on here are really not anywhere near the amount of games on here, I should say, aren't really anywhere near the actual full the full PlayStation Store experience. There's only about 12 games here, whereas the PS1 titles and the PS2 titles on the actual PlayStation Store should be hundreds of games that you can download for both free and paid and for pay. But honestly, like, these are just the ones that are formatted to the tablet once again. I wouldn't imagine that overnight when they release this that every game they've had already on the PS3 PlayStation Store would be able to be used on this device. So no, this really isn't the full experience by any means.
So what's the deal with PS3 controllers and a Sony Tablet S?
Well, so far it seems that you can only really utilize the PlayStation 3 controller on the Japanese firmware, and this is because it is not currently released on the American firmware. It's because, well, it's in a Japanese. This is Japanese tablet. It is Sony, so everything kind of starts at home, if you know what I mean. It seems that you have to plug the PlayStation 3 remote into the tablet to calibrate it, and then after you can use it wirelessly. Whereas we've tried it on the tablet itself now, but it seems that we don't. It's very difficult to find a mini USB that goes to a micro USB without a USB standard in between. So it doesn't seem that we can use that as of right now.
All right, so why don't we show the viewers an example of the types of games that are available in the store? I know we've downloaded a few games. Let's maybe fire one up.
So you can see here are the games that are available. There's not too many. There's about 12. So you can see this would be a typical download screen. You'd see the snippet of the game, and you can click download if you wish. We have already downloaded this one, so we'll go fire this one up and show you. So there you see it. You have the on-screen controls on the left and the right. However, we've played with this, obviously, and it's not the easiest to control, and mostly because your finger and the controls itself cover some of the screen, actual playable screen. So it's not the easiest to control, but it is nice that they put them there. I mean, well, how else are you going to play it right out of the box? You really can't, other than the on-screen stuff. So hopefully they will release some sort of PS3 or separate remote for the American, Canadian spec ones soon, because it's kind of difficult to play on the tablet itself.
I definitely like the touchscreen controller scheme that they're using here, probably more so than the iPad and iOS games. A lot of iOS games will merely have maybe a little touchscreen circle in the bottom left hand corner that you use to navigate, and maybe you'll have like a few dedicated buttons like a punch or a kick or a jump. With this, all games will have this interface here. So once you sort of get used to sort of like the dual stick virtual touchscreen navigation here, you'll be able to sort of pick it up and go with any type of PlayStation games. And of course, with the Sony Tablet S, you do have full access right out of the box to the official Google Android market. So you saw that the official PlayStation Store, fairly spartan. A lot of the games that you're seeing here are pretty well PlayStation 1 quality. You're not going to see like PS3 quality games, or really, exclusive PS titles like Resistance, The Fall of Man. You're not going to see games like that right away on this, but, the original PlayStation 1, that's really what you're seeing here. So you notice it is looking pixelated because this is a game that's probably over about 10 years old by now, but we wanted to give you an example of the UI, the controller scheme, and what the average type of a game looks like that you can get. So that's an example of the games. Of course, there are things, really kind of cool features on here, like the remote control application. This will pretty well allow you to have a universal remote control. And that's one of the huge selling points of this. It's within one or two buttons, you could pair your tablet with your TV.
Yeah, and at the Goody Reader studio here, we have several monitors as we film and all that, and we have tested it with a bunch of them, and you can indeed utilize many of the functions on any TV if you're within range of the infrared or the IR with this application. And I would assume you could go to even a department store where they have those walls of TVs and mess stuff up pretty well there too. So you can definitely have some fun with this.
Yeah, obviously we don't recommend that, but we could see a lot of people doing it. Yeah. So one of the things I like about this is how easy it is to pair it with your TV. You don't really have to, with a lot of universal remotes, you got to enter serial numbers or codes, or look things up online about your exact model TV, what's the universal remote code. With this, it's within 2 buttons it recognized the TV. So I definitely approve of that. So again, that's one of the cool little features that really make this very unique. So those are the default Sony apps that come with the unit. Let's just give you an example of some of the other types of things here. So you can see here that it does come bundled with Crash Bandicoot. It's sort of one of the initial PS1 launch titles, and with the Sony Tablet S, that was also one of the launch titles. But you can, the DLNA type application there, like we talked about earlier. A lot of the applications you see here actually came bundled with the unit. As you can see, it kind of like has a funky kind of UI here. You can stretch things. There's little animations that happen periodically, so you can check that out. Let's take a look at the music player. Again, this is something that Sony made. It's definitely, we've seen a lot of Android tablets. We reviewed one quite recently where it was a simple line.
I think that was the Mirasol, Kobo Mirasol reader. Yeah, when you opened up a song, there would just be a bar of a music player, and all it has was, I don't even think it had a play button, it just had a pause. So this is definitely a step up.
Yeah, definitely a step up in the right direction. So pretty well to, you can drag things around, which I think is pretty cool. If you want to play a song, all you do is tap on it, and it loads it up. So not too bad. I do definitely adore the sound quality of here. So dedicated YouTube player. Let's check out what comic books look like. I know a lot of people are huge fans of large screen devices. For some, 6-inch, 7-inch screens, comics don't really look that great. They really do shine once you sort of get beyond to like a 9 to a 10-inch tablet here. So let's take a look at an example here. Of course, this is the Marvel Comics app, available in the Goody Reader app store at goodyreader.com/apps. So you can go by frame if you want. You can sort of customize your own view. You notice that very responsive. And of course you can read these as well in portrait mode. So that's an example of how comics look here. You can see very clear and crisp resolution, but it's only dependent on the comic that you have. I mentioned the official Google Android market before, and it is refreshing to see tablets come out that actually have the ability to tap into this ecosystem without you having to rely on GetJar, One Mobile Market, and App Store. So any app you see here, you can get. So Netflix, the proverbial Angry Birds. A little played out by now, but you've seen Android Market before. I'm not going to walk you through it, but you do see that this device has unbridled capabilities to tap into it. So this is pretty well the Sony Tablet S experience. Peter, your thoughts?
I've never really had a tablet that I mean, we review countless tablets and e-readers, and it doesn't come along very often that when you just open up the box, type in your Google account, turn it on, type in your Google account and configure Wi-Fi, that you really like the tablet, and that's almost enough for you to buy it. The thing looks great. It's got one-of-a-kind stylings. No other tablet has mimicked the kind of folded plastic wedge it has going on. Everything loads up very quickly. It came with games right off the bat, PlayStation games. I mean, I'm a huge gamer. I love that there's games on there. Videos play flawlessly. Music plays flawlessly. There's a whole bunch of preloaded stuff for you. They have look at all these proprietary apps they have, and just they're not using a stock experience. They have everything is kind of geared towards this tablet, and it all just does everything so well. I really like it. I would probably the only thing I would say that I don't really like on it is there's no HDMI out, but that is quickly resolved with DLNA capabilities. So if you have a DLNA TV or speaker system, this can easily connect to it, no problem. But other than that, that would be my only complaint, and that is still not enough for me to. It will not break my decision on this. I mean, this is still a very, very good tablet. It's one of the best tablets we've reviewed here.
Yeah, I really it's very snappy and responsive, and that's one of the features here that I really like. Everything from pinching and zooming to multitasking. I mean, look how many things we have open here, and it's not really suffering from any sluggishness. One of the things that we did found is the more things that you have open, and if you're listening to music at the same time, we did experience some sound clippings and things like that. But editing widgets, live wallpapers, and everything like that are super easy. Again, this is running the latest version of Google Honeycomb, and Sony has told us that soon they will be pushing an ice cream sandwich update. Obviously, it does have a very custom UI, as we said, so it's not as easy as just installing ice cream sandwich, but they have to make sure that it doesn't really break their existing user interface. So, in the end, I am a huge fan of this tablet. I think that if you can find one on eBay for under $400, you should definitely get it. Not only is this one of the best gaming tablets that I've ever seen, but for just the consumption of media in general, it's smaller than an iPad, but not by much. The aesthetic design of it is very pleasing, but I can't really see any flaws with this. And we review so many tablets that in a lot of cases, when we unbox it, I see nothing but flaws. And with this, I've really have yet to really see a feature to make me say, I don't like this tablet. This really has anything that you want in an Android tablet and then some. So we'll leave it to you to gauge how you feel about this. Please comment on our YouTube video if you have this in your own possession, or anything that you would like to say about it. So you can find our full hands-on review on this on our blog at goodyreader.com/blog, and check out all of our other videos at goodyreader or at youtube.com/user/goodyreader. And for goodyreader.com, my name is Michael.
This is Peter.
And everybody take care.